Press conference today as he announced his partnership with the CBD oil company.
Maybe down the road, whenever, if I got to have that desire again, I got to have that passion, I got to have that fire, and I got to have that sustainability to know if I go back out there, I can sustain it every week, week in, week out. I'm not going to go out there and be beat the F up, and feeling like crap. That's not the way to live. That's not the way to play football.
Pat Shurmur says Eli Manning is the Week 1 starter for the Giants. However, no word on just how long the leash is. It's been no secret Shurmur is happy with the progress of rookie quarterback Daniel Jones and says the number 6 overall pick will be ready when called upon. Now, as for who will be on the receiving end of whomever starts, our Kim Jones is in East Rutherford, New Jersey with Sterling Shepard.
Shep, you had the most talked about thumb of training camp. How is it and how ready are you for the regular season?
Yeah, I'm good now. I've been just listening to the trainers, doing whatever they tell me to do, and it's going smooth. I think I'm on pace to be ready for Week 1.
You know the quarterbacks in that room, especially the first two. How do you assess Eli Manning so far and Daniel Jones so far? Yeah,
they've both been smooth. Both very smart guys and come to work every day with the mindset of we're going to get better. So both of the guys have looked smooth, like I said. Looking forward to Week 1.
Do you look at this as an offense that can win battles, win games, be a winning operation?
Definitely. You look at the last 5 games of last season, I think we played some of our best football. We also led the NFC East in scoring, so we have some of the same group of guys in that room, so I'm very confident in the guys that we have.
Last thing for you, you and Saquon are guys. You're together all the time, but you've been together on the sidelines a lot this preseason. What is it like not to take a snap in a game so far for the two of you?
I think we've both played enough football to know what we're getting into come Week 1. So I think we're prepared. We're just staying in it mentally and also getting a lot of work on the practice field and after practice as well with the QB so we can stay on timing with him.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
Minor scare for the Eagles today. Deshaun Jackson broke a finger on his left hand at practice. Now, according to Ian Rappaport, Jackson is not expected to miss any time and should be ready to go Week 1 against the Redskins.
Well, Amber's not because of injury, but rather injury prevention that Deshaun Jackson's quarterback Carson Wentz and the others you see here did not play this preseason, although to be fair, won't Week 4. Aaron Rodgers was going to play. We expected it not for those adverse field conditions.
We as an organization have moved on
last week. So let's bring back Willie McGinnis, James Jones, and
we're excited about the formulation of our team for 19.
Steve, good to be here with you, brother. Let's talk about the overall sentiment of the quarterbacks not playing that much in preseason. Willie, do you have reservations about high-profile quarterbacks not getting that much action in the preseason?
When you say high-profile, there's a couple of things for me that go along with it. Is he a veteran? How long has he been in the system? And who he is? Like the Tom Brady's, the Aaron Rodgers, the Ben Roethlisberger's, the Breeze, all those guys know.
They come out the game there in a bunch formation.
He did play because he wants to play. That's just him as a competitor, but I just don't put as much. I don't put as much if he's not out there because I know he's been in the consistent system with the same coordinator for a very long time.
He's in the
just
slot.
the new
So
players
now
coming in and have to get on the same page.
And even you have a new player or a new head coach, it's the offensive line. If you're not going to play your offensive line, you're starting offensive linemen, you're starting running backs, wide receivers, and the quarterback. Don't put him right here for the touchdown. Just say, hey, he's getting reps in a new system. Don't jeopardize his health or whatever just because you don't have the other fortifications here. If you're going ones and you're rolling with the ones, he's the number 1 receiver, but they're moving him all over the field.
I think the people on this list who haven't gotten a lot of reps,
and that makes it harder on defenders.
Yeah, they'll be fine. And a lot of coaches and teams now are going to these joint practices. So if their guys looking good in these joint practices, you're getting live, you're going to have to nobody's hitting the ground. There's no need to put him out there for preseason. He's been looking sharp.
My biggest
so
question
let's just
is who
keep
is
him
going
healthy,
to be the
getting
Juju?
ready
Who's going
for
to
the
be the number
season.
2?
So
Is that a James
no, I'm not
Washington
surprised
for
that
you?
none of these guys Willie said need to step out there.
In fact, those 4 guys we showed you right there, all of them had at least one joint practice with another team. But Steve, is there a guy you feel like you wanted to see more from a quarterback this preseason?
It's hard to say. Look, maybe Joe Flacco with Denver because he is going with a first-time play caller on offense. He's changing teams. He's got a new system. But, again, if he's not out there with the first teamers the whole time getting the reps, Emmanuel Sanders didn't come back into the third preseason game, then maybe he shouldn't play as much. Again, Flacco's one of those guys. I think Denver's a team offensively going through some changes, but defensively the team could be very competitive.
And you said new coordinator or a new team, and Nick Foles is one of those guys for me because since 2015 he's had 11 starts. That's he's never been a full-time starter in this league. So the sample size for Nick Foles, we've seen him come in and win a Super Bowl. We've seen him come in because of injury and take over and do great. But the sample size has been small. So we haven't seen him as a full-time starter. I know he's with his coordinator that he had, or his quarterback coach that he had in Philadelphia. The other thing is when you look at this team, they're last in pass touchdowns, last passing yards at the bottom of the league, not last. And they also 20 yards or more, they're at the bottom of the league. So I want to see if he can push the ball down the field, something that this team hasn't been able to do with the Jaguars since Blake Bortles has been there.
Foles can throw the deep ball now.
Well, no.
Right. The receivers, we got to see it.
So, the other one that's interesting to me is your former quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, James. And to be fair, I think, he might have played in week 2, but he had that little bit of back stiffness, right? So they scratched him. And then week 3, he might have played but didn't. Do you feel like he needed it with Matt LaFleur coming in this year?
Well, no, I don't feel like he needed it. I mean, I talked to those guys a lot. They've been sending me a couple little clips. I mean, the timing between him and Devontae is unbelievable. He loves the offense, a lot of movement and stuff in the offense. He say he's ready to go, doesn't really got to think a lot, don't really got to audible a lot because they're doing a lot of moving parts. So, guys are just coming open. So I'm not worried about Aaron. He'll be fine. Like I said, the joint practice has helped him. He looked sharp in the joint practice, so I don't think he needed to step out there.
Tell me more about these clips that you were sent.
Oh, man, that's in the house. Okay. But, I'm real close with those dudes. So, they'll send me some tapes, especially Devontae will send me some tapes, just how they looking and stuff like that. And the timing is
and you're satisfied.
Very satisfied.
I like to hear it. Hey, let's continue the conversation by taking a look at who's on the bubble presented by Payday. Not the roster bubble per se here, but the starting week 1 bubble in Miami. Getting a look at what Ryan Fitzpatrick and Josh Rosen have done at QB. Obviously, Rosen with a little bit larger sample size here, put up more yards, did throw the only interception out of these two quarterbacks. I think maybe coming off his best performance of the preseason against the Jaguars, even though it did come kind of late here. So, has Rosen, Steve Wyche, done enough to secure the week 1 starting gig for the Dolphins?
To me, the fact he can walk on the field is enough. I mean, look, you traded for this guy. He's a former first-round draft pick. Find out if he can play. Yeah. Okay, if he can't play, then you start go ahead and preparing to have Tua Tagovailoa as your quarterback next year. But find out if he can play. Ryan Fitzpatrick, we know what he is, right? He's going to get you off to what, a 3-2 start maybe? And then you're going to call for Rosen to come into get him going from the beginning, let him get the chemistry, and again, figure it all out.
I'm trying to think of a reason, Willie, to start Fitzpatrick week 1. You got one?
Well, if the guy doesn't know what to do, if he doesn't know the play calls, but since he's one of the smartest guys in the room, he's going to engulf the playbook and understand the system. So I agree with Steve. You got to put him out there. You got to see what you have. And I know you're rebuilding. I know you're still trying to build a team, so it's not going to be picture perfect. But at the same time, you need to know if next year you got to make a move for a quarterback or if this is going to be your guy going forward.
Absolutely. This is simple for me. I mean, Ryan Fitzpatrick is not the future. Josh Rosen could possibly be the future. You traded for him, put him out there, let him go play, let him get comfortable with the guys. And then if he goes out there and he has a very good year, now you can bring in some pieces to build around him if that's your guy and build a system around him. Ryan Fitzpatrick is just a guy right now, like Steve said, he'll go out there and win you a couple games, but he's not a guy you want there for 5-6 years. Josh Rosen could possibly be one of those guys. He was a top 10 pick. So if he goes out there and balls, then you can build around him, get him comfortable in the system, and you possibly got a quarterback that you traded for a 3rd-round pick, I think, a top 10 quarterback that can go out there and make plays.
And you eliminate the distraction. Now, we're not talking about a quarterback competition now. We're moving on.
Yeah. Right.
If you're B-Flow, the head coach, with the Miami Dolphins.
Well, and it does seem odd that it sounds like Rosen could start this preseason finale for the Dolphins here in this 4th week, which would be rather unprecedented for a guy who would start week 1. But they haven't named a starter just yet. All right, guys, he's one of the best to ever put on a Colts uniform. So when he speaks, we listen. Robert Mathis joining us next with his insight on little brother Andrew Luck, the Colts, and what Indy must do to succeed without for 12. That's the list.